Mayor Johnson's leadership can be defined by demagoguery, fueled by progressive rhetoric and driven by a divisive agenda that plays to the lowest common denominator rather than striving for unity, fiscal responsibility, or the common good. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, Mayor.
Morning.
Today I stand here as a concerned citizen to speak out against the leadership of Mayor Brandon Johnson, a leader whose actions and affiliations are doing a disservice to our once great city. But before I do so, I'd like to thank Alderman Brendan Riley and Raymond Lopez and the other common sense aldermen for holding firm on no property tax hikes and for their proposed headcount reductions. While the end of the budgetary cycle is near, we are just getting started in order to save our city, which is in financial crisis. Under the current mayor's administration, we've seen a disturbing trend. A mayor more concerned with pandering to special interest groups and non-taxpayers than with making the tough, necessary decisions to move the city forward. Mayor Johnson's leadership can be defined by demagoguery, fueled by progressive rhetoric and driven by a divisive agenda that plays to the lowest common denominator rather than striving for unity, fiscal responsibility, or the common good. We do not need progressive revenue initiatives. We have an addiction to spending, and it must be fixed immediately. It's no secret that Brandon Johnson's ties to the CTU run deep. His political career from the start has been propped up by union support, and now as mayor, it's clear that those ties come with a hefty price tag and put the CTU's interests above those of our children and taxpayers. The CTU, with its unwavering influence over local politics, has contributed to our insolvency. The president of the CTU recently tweeted, "We will put a force field around our children." This is lunacy and the definition of demagoguery. The CTS, for a couple of stats here, the CTS budget in 2010 was $5.3 billion, roughly $13,000 per student to educate. In the 2025 budget, the budget for CPS is $10 billion, or $31,000 per student. When is enough enough? That's the cost to go to the University of Illinois. The annual salaries of CPS employees have skyrocketed by over $800 million since 2019, all of which was funded by federal COVID funds, which are all now depleted and no longer coming. What's more troubling is the mayor's blatant disregard to address the rising costs of living, worsening infrastructure, and mounting public debt. His proposal to raise property taxes was egregious and was lost by 50-0 vote. He and his supporters refused to give in on the sanctuary status when we've spent over $600 million on migrants this year, while Chicago is basically insolvent. Argentina's new president, Javier Milei, took over an economy in 2023 with triple-digit inflation, massive deficits, and widespread poverty, and he turned their economy around in less than 1 year. How did he do so? He cut over $20 billion from government spending while eliminating departments and layoffs. And as a result, inflation has collapsed to 3% from over 200%, and GDP growth has reached 16% in the latest quarter with a budget surplus. Chicago deserves better. We need leadership that puts our city's future above partisan interests and won't be held hostage to union interests. The current mayor won the 2023 election by 26,000 votes on 30% voter turnout. We need a mayor who will stand up to the special interests and focus on the
Thank you very much for your comments. However, your time has expired.